Next, group 2, please present.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so today we'll be talking about our experience and what we've understood through the virtual education tour. Nidhi, next slide, please. Okay, so we've been looking into the learning outcomes that we've been given, which is students will have a better understanding of how banking transactions work. Students will better understand the functions of a bank, and also that students will understand more about the tertiary sector as a segment of the economy that provides services to its consumers. So now we have Dhruv to explain us about the Federal Bank of India.
Now, the Federal Bank of India was first founded in 1949. It is the main bank of India and also helps printing of the money, and also it is semi-privatized and it's semi-public. Yeah, next.
Okay, now how does a bank function? Now this is kind of an important aspect when it comes to banking. Now banks, it's basically a sector where deposits and exchange of goods in the form of money is being put. Banks accept deposits and they make loans, and they also derive a profit from the differences in the interest rates that are paid and charged. So the primary function of banks is that it's to put their account holders and the money to use by lending it out to the others who can then use it and to buy it for home or businesses or send their kids to colleges or whatsoever. Now, secondary functions also include issuing letter of credit, which the bank has been doing. They undertake safe custody of valuables. They provide consumers finance and also educational loans when required. Next.
Okay.
Dhruv, would you explain what we've observed till now?
Actually, I thought Ridya was doing this.
Okay, yeah, then Ridya, could you do it?
Okay.
Other groups, please add questions to them in the Padlet work. Yes, Ridya.
Yeah. Ridya, are you there?
Priya said she can't unmute herself.
Yeah, that's not a problem. But about Ridya, are you there, Ridya?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, could you speak a little louder?
If not, other group member, please add to this. If she
Okay,
cannot.
ma'am. Okay. So, till now, what we've observed is about how the bank functions and how we have gone through the Federal Bank of India through a virtual tour, which includes many services by the security or the bank loaners, or even we've also noticed a new thing in the Federal Bank of India where there is a special section for kids who are being brought up to the bank by their parents or whatsoever. So for them, they have a special kids area where the kids don't really get bored and don't really go out of interest in being in that place. Okay, next slide, maybe. Now, Ritya, could you explain us the 3 types of bank transactions?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Ritya.
Yeah.
We can't hear you anymore, Ritya.
Ritya, we can't hear you.
Okay, so the 3 main types of bank transactions are check, deposit, and withdrawal. So deposits can be used for checking or savings, and other types include ATM, POS, charge, check, and online transactions. So, And the advancement in the Indian banking system can be classified into three different phases. The first one is the pre-independence phase, that is before 1947, and second is after independence phase, that is from 1947 to 1991. The third one is the LPG, 1991 era and beyond.
Okay.
Okay, Nidhi, could you go to this next slide? Okay, so Dhruv, can you explain us about the advancement in Indian banking system?
Now, previously, Indian banking system was you had to go to the bank to do your transactions, to do any bank work that you normally wanted to do. But now the federal bank is the first bank in India to digitalize. So especially during the age of COVID-19, where you can't leave your house to go to a bank, you can now do it online through the federal bank's website. Yeah, that's all that.
Okay, Nidhi, could you go to the next slide? Now we've come to the main point of this whole presentation, which is a question which we come at the end, as in why is banking a tertiary industry? So we have Basil to explain us this.
Yeah, why is bank a tertiary industry? Bank is a tertiary industry because bank is financial institution that accepts deposit from public and credit cards, creates credit. It also provide loan, etc. They generally provide a service so the customer under tertiary industry or sectors. Thank you all for listening to our PPT. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Group 2. I really liked few things in your presentation. Firstly, your presentation starts with the learning objective, which is there. So that's a
Yes.
very good thing. Second, I really liked you have added the part where what did you observe? You have added to it, and even the way in which Basil have added to it, that was also very good. And I really like the way Khushi it was leading the entire presentation, and she discussed like who is going to do which part, and flow she was discussing so that students exactly know like where it is going through. I expect others also do in the same way. Good work.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, questions, Group 2, any is there? Yes, there are many questions.
Yeah.
Please add your name. In the first one, anonymous is showing. Please add, edit the work, and please add. Is there any major difference in the functioning of Federal Bank of Atlanta? If you're not prepared, you can tell that you want some time so that when
Yeah.
other groups are presenting,
Yeah.
you can get back to it also. Okay. Is
Yes,
there
ma'am.
any major difference in the functioning of the Federal Bank of Atlanta and Federal Bank of India? Second is a large number of people are poor in India. Does this affect their capacity to perform transactions and how? And then Aritra has mentioned, you have mentioned that Federal Bank prints cash. Doesn't the Reserve Bank of India do that? Yes. If the Federal Bank indeed prints money, then why do we have a Reserve Bank? And what is the difference between the two banks? Okay, students. So even group 1 did not get that much amount of time. Maybe you were not prepared. That's why you couldn't answer. So let's the cross questioning round. After they finish, you have to answer that.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. We'll
students. In
get
case,
back to them.
yeah. So even for group 1 also, I'm not deducting points for that. If in case anybody wants to add questions, please add there, and they'll be getting back to you with your answers. Okay, group 3 now. Start.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. We are group 3, and our group members are Nidhi, Mavika, Melvin, Nazi, Mahi, and Rishika. And we're going to talk about banking and what we've learned through the virtual tour. So the first question is, what is banking? Now, banking is an industry by itself. It handles financial transactions, cash, credit, etc. And as we have mentioned and learned before, that it serves as a very secure and safe place to store extra cash, or if someone is low in cash and credit, they can take loans. And if people need to save their money for future requirements, they also offer savings accounts, certificates, etc. And the loans that I had mentioned earlier, they use these deposits. They use the deposits from the saving accounts to make loans, and these loans can be home mortgages, business loans, car loans, etc. There are just two pictures from the Federal Bank of India, which was our major topic. Transaction. Yeah. Malvika will be explaining this part.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about transactions. So first, let's talk about what transaction is. So transaction activity is something that is transacted, especially an exchange or transfer of goods, services, or funds. So an example of this is that if you're paying a supplier for a service rendered or a goods that is delivered. Can you go to the next one, Nidhi, please? Okay, so this is so the transaction cycle is basically one of the basic ways in which a business is processed. So if there's a deal or something, then the money is processed by a transaction cycle. So there are 5 typical transaction cycles that are actually used. There's revenue, expenditure, production, human resources, or the payroll, and financing. Nidhi, next one. Okay, so there are 3 major types of bank transactions. So there's check, deposit, and withdrawal. So a bank transaction is basically the record of the money that has moved in and out of your bank account. So when you have costs associated with your business, for example, the rent of your office space or something like that, the payments for these will come out of your bank as account transactions. So this is another example. So among the various types of banking transactions, there's wire transfers, online bill payments, and credit card transactions. So deposits are like something like this. So deposits can be used for checkings or savings, and other types include ATM, POS, charge, check, and online. Okay, can we move on to the next?
Okay, priority banking will be explained by Rishika.
Okay, so priority banking are certain services that are provided to customers who have been with a particular bank for a very long time. They can also be provided to customers who have made certain transactions that can provide them this services. The services that Federal Bank of India provides to their priority banking customers are self-banking area, conference room, and read beyond banking. Next slide. Nidhi, next slide.
Yeah, can you guys see? Because I am changing the slide.
No, I can see the branches.
Yeah, that's
branches.
Yeah, okay. So the branches which provide priority banking are R.N. Mukherjee Road, Calcutta, and Bandra West in Mumbai.
These are just few pictures, which from the virtual tour. Okay, and the next advancements would be explained.
Students, please, sorry to interrupt. Students, if you have any questions to group 3, please add there. Okay.
Yes, this would be explained by Mahi.
It's still stuck in the picture.
Yeah.
No, I think it's coming slow for you because I've changed it, but then it'll probably take a while to load.
It came. Advanced.
I can see now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Okay,
don't know.
so the advancements of Indian banking can be classified into 3 phases. The first phase is the pre-independence phase that was before 1947. The second phase is the after independence phase, that is from 1947 to 1991. And the third one is the LPG era and beyond, that is from 1991 and beyond. Can you change? Okay, so the pre-independence phase. So this phase, just one sec. Yeah, so this phase, during this time, there were nearly 600 banks that were present in India. And this
banking system had started with the foundation of Bank of Hindustan, that was then in the capital of Calcutta, the present day Kolkata. That was in 1770, and then after the Bank of Hindustan, there were many other banks that were evolved. For example, the General Bank of India, the Aundh Commercial Bank, but they did not continue for a very long time. And during that time, the Aundh Commercial Bank was the first commercial bank of India. Okay, it's not seen.
It'll take 2 minutes, ma'am. It's coming late for them, even though I changed the slide. I do not know why.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
No.
Not yet.
Okay, wait. Now?
No.
Not yet. Okay, somebody else. If you're having a problem, then somebody else can present it. Maybe.
Okay, it's the after independence phase. It was from 1947 to 1991, and the main features of this period was the nationalization of the bank.
Yeah, I can see it now. Can I explain?
Okay. Yes, please go.
Yeah. Okay. So, so as Nidhi said, it was from 1947 to 1991. So one of the main features of this phase was that it was the nationalization of bank. So what nationalization of bank refers to is that during this time, the transfer of public sectors was operated and owned by the central and the state government. So in the year 1949, the Reserve Bank of India was nationalized, and this was during the rule of Indira Gandhi. You can go on.
Yeah, the third phase, the last phase.
Yeah, so it's not seen, but I have the information ready with me, so can I explain?
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Okay. So the last phase is the LPG phase and beyond. So in the year 1991, there was a very remarkable change in the Indian economy. So this was because the government had opened economy and had allowed foreign investors to come and invest in India, and this allowed the motion of the private players to enter the banking sector.
Okay. Now the next topic is services, just would be named by Nazi. Can everyone see the slide, services?
No. Not yet.
Still showing the third phase.
Okay.
Somebody else maybe can present, like share your screen if Nidhi is having a problem.
Marvika?
Services came.
Okay, services came. Okay, Nazim, can you please?
Services provided by banking are advancement of loan, check payments, discounting on bill of exchange, collecting and paying the credit instruments, guarantee by banks, consultancy, credit cards, funds remittance, and debit card.
Okay, now it's the last topic, the virtual tour. Nabil?
Okay, so the virtual tour. So there were 3 virtual tours, out of which the first one was the Museum of Trade and Finance. So as you can see in the picture, this is a part of the museum. It shows the history of finance, in a form of a timeline of New Orleans. The second one is the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta's Monterey Museum. So, and this is similar to the timeline, but it is shown in a way of a ring, as you all can see in the picture. And the third one,
Maybe
Yeah,
third one.
I changed.
It's still in the ring one. It's
One
taking
second.
a little bit time.
Just
Okay.
1 second. It will come.
And sorry, students, I'll just interrupt again once more. People who are presenters must switch on their camera. Okay, at least the presenters make sure that your camera is on. I can see Melville is on, but rest of the students, it was not so.
Mine is on.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so now we can see the third one, which is the Bankers Challenge. So before I brief on this, it is quite similar to the BCC or Business Challenge Cup held in our school. It gives the viewer or the audience a chance to know how banking works. So over here, it's like it's in the form of a LCD touchscreen where the visitors they can play the Bankers Challenge. It's an interactive game which helps the visitor to understand how the bank earns profits and manages the risk, as well as the role of Fed in banking industry.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, very good work. Group three, the things which I liked from your work was good preparation, distribution of work is there. That's for all the group. And I liked you have used an innovative platform for making the presentation. You have used prezi.com. And then I really liked the contribution of Melville, which part he did, like the things learned from the virtual tour. And also like he also provided the real life application from giving example from our school. So that was very good. And yeah, everything overall was good.
Thank you, Mom.
Next, any questions for group three?
No.
Yes, good work. I didn't see any questions. Okay, yes. Okay, fine. Next is group four. Students, if you have a question, please add. Okay, this will add to your points. Then group four.